We can't give you every answer to every problem. What we can do is inspire you to start putting your imagination into gear. If you start thinking laterally, outside the box, to use that phrase, about how can I use different materials in different ways, you will find it starts gambolling and you start looking everywhere for ideas about where you could grow things. Now, obviously this is a greenhouse, and the percentage of people who are going to have a greenhouse to their disposal is practically zero. However, you can find growing solutions that mimic a greenhouse and the conditions we've created here without too much difficulty. And as we walk down here, we'll have a look at one of the first things we want to show you that you might consider doing, which is how to raise some very fast salad that you can eat within maybe 3 to 4 weeks. And we've got a little project going down the end here. Now, you might say, how could I possibly manage to produce something like this in my little apartment or my home environment? Probably you can't. But by watching what we've done here, maybe you can find a halfway solution, something smaller on a smaller scale, that involves the same principle. Now, if you look here, these seedlings were sown just over 2 weeks ago. Already, you could eat these. Now, the future for this salad is that some of it will be picked fairly soon to have as a salad. Other parts of it will be planted on, taken out, and planted onto a box maybe like this, where we'll grow it to maybe half size. So it'll be about like that size. And then you can start harvesting it as a semi-salad. So if you mix it with your micro salads, we'll plant some more seed. Micro salad, semi-salad, and then we'll have another series of boxes where we'll plant some of these things and grow them onto full maturity. So very quickly, within about 6 to 8 weeks, we'll have a whole production line going where we'll be having salad available every day. Now, how you do that for yourself is down to your imagination. Here's our magic box that we looked at 3 days ago, and you can see already the growth has been significant. I watered this about 20 minutes ago. So if you're transplanting, first of all, water what you're going to transplant, and also water the soil in the box into which you will transplant. At no point do you want the roots from your transplants getting dry. So I'll just get a little, this is not professional level gardening for anybody that's watching. This is what somebody might have knocking around at home. So I'm just going to make sure the soil that we transplant into is completely moisturised. We've got our cardboard lining there, which obviously is going to break up and deteriorate over a few days and weeks, but we live with that. Just give that a few minutes to soak in. Right. So, to our box. I mean, you can dig in at any point. We've got so much of this stuff now, we're going to have to start eating some of it. But I'm using a bricklaying, a little pointing trowel. You might have one of those in your shed. Just dig in, don't be afraid. Remember, you've already wet this, so all the roots are going to be nice and moist. Yeah, we've got a nice handful there. So, all I do, I'll just stick them on there. Now, you've got to be gentle when you're handling transplants. I always think about butterfly wings. Imagine you're handling butterfly wings. The wings of a butterfly. Just very gently tease it apart. Try and keep as much soil onto the root ball as you can. Some of them will be thrown away. They will just be too small, too weak. But the pressure I'm using is zero. Then I just take 2 fingers, pull a hole back, drop him in, and push him in like that. And I'll do it again with another one. 2 fingers, pull a hole back, drop the root ball in, firm him in around the neck. You're trying to avoid getting any soil on the leaves if you possibly can. Don't worry about them all looking neat and tidy. They'll stand up in a couple of days and fill the box up nicely. There you go. Look. It's a little bit technical, but it's something you soon get your hand on. As long as you just remember, treat them like little babies. You don't want them getting dry, you don't want them getting too hot, you don't want them dying too cold. Very simply, bang. And like I said in the other video, very quickly these will grow on and we'll harvest them when they're maybe half size. A few little bits and pieces in there, I don't know what they are. Just pull your fingers out, bang. Don't fuss around with them too much, the less you handle them, the better. And over here, I'll show you, I've got a box which I did 2 days ago. That's those. So I just carry on and fill the box up. Over here is a box of lettuce from the other one, which was done a couple of days ago, and they're just beginning to come back to life now, and they'll very quickly grow on, they'll take off, grow up, and we'll be harvesting them in a couple of weeks, eating them.
And so one could put these on window ledges, could grow them inside.
Yeah. Obviously in a greenhouse you have overhead direct light, which is optimum, that's the best, then they grow straight. If you're on a windowsill, you'll have to periodically turn them because they do bend over to head towards the light. And then just keep them, make sure the soil doesn't dry out, and very quickly you'll have something to eat.
And of course, with this sort of system, one could actually, with central heating in the winter, use grow lights like these panels over here.
If you wanted to get that technical, yeah. Just make sure they're standing nice and upright. And this is a mixture of different things, which, when they all grow up, you just cut them, you'll have a really nice stir-fry mix or something. So that's our vegetable one.
So are there any other things we can have a look at that you've done in the last few days?
We've planted, well, yeah, this isn't emergency work, but we've planted broad beans. Broad beans are an interesting one in terms of emergency food, because when the plant is maybe this big, you could theoretically cut the whole thing off and eat it instead of letting it grow to a big plant. And if you look at a packet of beans, it costs about £2, and you might get about 30 beans in a packet of seeds. So if you had 30 of these, you've got a really big packet of green vegetables, and it's cost you a couple of quid.
And they'll regrow, will they?
Well, I'm not sure actually. It depends how much energy is left in the. So if you cut them maybe at that height, they would probably regrow. They might keep going. In fact, we'll do that as a little experiment. You can certainly do it when they're older. Take quite big lumps off the top and eat it. You can do the same with peas. We've got some peas over there. You could eat those as little pea shoot plants. But obviously it's a little bit more expensive because you use. One thing that you can do certainly is if you buy a packet of something like dried red kidney beans from the supermarket, or a dookie bean, all kinds of different beans, you could use those because they're much cheaper than buying bona fide seeds from seed companies.
And are the leaves edible?
Of the beans?
Yeah.
Of the red kidney beans, I'm not sure about the red kidney beans. Certainly the broad beans and the peas are.
I think one's got to do a bit of homework on
yeah,
that.
I mean, you've got to watch what you're doing. I've never actually done the red beans myself, but you may well be able to eat the leaves. I should think so.
I think it needs checking.
Let's check that. See, we don't know everything. Happy to admit we don't know everything.
And so that's really the message, that in an emergency like this, one's got to do one's homework about what one really can eat.
Absolutely, like I mentioned in the other video, don't try and do this with tomato seedlings. I think they have oxalic acid or something in the leaves. I know that because once I came across a chef who tried to put them into his stock pot, and it didn't end well.